The main event. I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum. You know him as 17-year NFL veteran, three-time Super Bowl champion for your Dallas Cowboys, and boy, he's used to physicals, folks. And see if he ever failed one. Dale Hellestray, everybody.
Where else would you rather be than right here, right now,
Well,
Steve?
for you, it's the golf course. You're probably already counting the minutes to teeing off today.
I'm always where I am.
How's that?
You know what I'm saying? Who's got it better than us, Steve?
Nobody.
Yeah?
Nobody.
You, me, Harbaugh, the Raiders.
Well, the Raiders just got screwed. Half the league got screwed, but the Raiders definitely got screwed.
It's gonna be
in that
fun.
deal. This is an amazing story. We'll get into that.
We'll get into that. But Steve, an innocuous Tuesday.
Yeah.
Middle of March.
Dale, I was sitting there yesterday. When I left here yesterday, of course, we produced John Holmberg Sports Podcast with you and Nash
Right.
and him. I'm sitting back there, and you guys leave, and Ethan's, doing all the uploading stuff he needs to do for it and all of that stuff to get it over so Hubbard can post it. And I'm literally thinking, oh, man, Suns play tonight, World Baseball Classic, just a mundane game against Italy.
Right.
Oh, it'll be a nice, relaxing night tonight. Went home, went shopping. My daughter had a dentist appointment, and then we went to Ross. She did some shopping. Oh, everything's fine. Boom, Max Crosby deal nixed. Boom, World Baseball Classic sucks. Why are we even participating in this garbage event?
Don't you think you should know the rules before you enter a contest, Steve?
So, it's amazing how I was like, oh, man, tomorrow we're not going to have a lot to talk about. I'm going to have to, find stuff. And then it's like, never mind.
Sports is the thing that keeps on giving.
But it was funny how I thought that. It's my fault. I thought that yesterday. What an easy day it's going to be. Just some quick headlines. We'll get into some of this. Lions restructure Jared Goff's contract. So they created $32 million in cap space by restructuring the Jared Goff number. First of all, how much money is Jared Goff making?
Yeah, I don't know, Steve, but you can adjust my contract. It'll save you $30 million.
That was the shocker to me. Was they're saving how much?
Yeah.
Then, of course, the big news, Ravens, Crosby said no to Crosby because of his knee. And then this morning, we'll get into that story coming up. But then this morning, Ravens signed Trey Hendrickson as well. Hey, if you're not going to get Crosby, might as well go get Hendrickson and keep your draft picks, I guess.
Yes.
Which brings me to my next point. Why don't you just do that in the first place? I don't see a 4-year, $112 million deal is what it is for Hendrickson there.
I think some people are a little bit surprised, not really at the money, but the 4 years.
4 year, because $28 million, he wanted 20. I was seeing that he was asking for 20. And people were kind of balking at that. And they signed up for $28 million a year, basically, is what that comes out to.
And I'm sure some of that is wonky money and whatever, because he is 31 years old.
So some people, when they report the total dollar amount, like I saw Gardner Minshew was 1 year, $8.5 million.
Yeah.
But that's it with all the incentives on it as well. Could be that. It's
Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, it's $5.25 million, but with bonuses and incentives, it can get up to $8 million. So some entities report the bonus amounts and stuff, what it could get to, and some just report what it is minus that stuff.
Right.
So you got to pay attention where you're looking at that as well. But Hendrickson finally getting well, I can tell you this, Baltimore sure is not afraid of guys that like to cause a lot of drama around teams, are they? Going from Crosby to Hendrickson now?
Well, I'm sure they're hoping kind of like that maybe it's Carson Palmer part 2.
NFL world is just going crazy right now. Of course, folks, we might not have a country representing us in the WBC very much longer. We'll find out later today on top of it. Good news is, though, Dale, Bobby Hurley survives that walk off the plank yesterday.
I told you yesterday, what if they win 5 in a row, Stevie?
He's still gone.
You're going to be clamoring for him to come back.
Still give him the old
Evo
kick in the butt and say, hey, let me get that door for you, sir. I'm just tired of it. I'm just tired of the attitude. Now, if you won multiple championships, okay, I might be tired of it, but I might put up with it at the same time. But he's not his brother.
They keep on giving him the early slot game times wise. Hopefully, say, do you realize we don't want you around here?
Another 9:30 a.m. start today.
Yeah.
Iowa State on top of it. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, Arizona State beat Iowa State. No, they didn't. They beat Texas.
But they
beat Texas.
they played well enough
played
to beat them.
Yeah.
Just didn't finish off the job.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. 9:30. Bobby Hurley, the Bobby Hurley Memorial. Okay, this is what I don't get, Dale. This is what I'm confused about. Well, I got some other stuff I want to talk about first, but I'll just keep this in your mind here as we get into this. Bobby Hurley, at one point in the season, they lost to West Virginia, and he's like, my players are listening to me, to the point where beat writers following this team thought Bobby Hurley was trying to get fired in that moment. And then they rebound, they win some more. Then they have the thing where everybody knows my situation and all of that stuff against Kansas. And, coach is one of our best guys. It's just sad it's not working out here. All of that talk. Then the story comes out with reputable people. Even Bobby Hurley said, yeah, the main guy reporting this, I personally know him. He's sitting right over here, and we talk all the time. And I have not told him my status or anything. And so it's interesting to see him, like literally called him out yesterday. It's interesting seeing him because I haven't been told anything. We've gone from everybody knows the situation to it's premature to say he's fired to he's fired to now it's Bobby Hurley saying, I haven't been told anything. Why are we playing this game, Dale? Why are we playing this game? So keep that in mind coming up as well. But first, Dale, as you know, I was out at NASCAR this weekend and everything. I just have to feel like I have to give you proof. Now, what I'm about to play here, because, Dale takes credit for everything in my life, if you don't know.
Just the good things.
But we were able to go, and I told you, we thought we were just going to go get a tour of the IndyCar facilities, on-track facilities for Santino Ferrucci. Turns out they're expecting an interview and everything, so we scrambled real fast. Now, keep in mind, we recorded this on a phone. I cleaned it up as best as I can here. I'm going to play the full interview later on the pit stop today. But just so Dale knows, because he was questioning if Santino even remembered him and everything.
I did.
Here's the beginning of the conversation when we're just like shooting this stuff. Now, keep in mind, we recorded this in his hauler, which isn't the quietest place on the planet.
In his who?
In his hauler. That where they keep the cars
and
really?
All
of that stuff. So we were indoor. Oh, yeah, he can't come out and do an interview. People would mob.
Really?
People would mob me when I walk around there. Then he walks out. Oh, my gosh. Those two crowds mingling together? Nobody needs that, Dale. So keep in mind, it's the audio, but I just wanted Dale to know this is how much he remembers you here.
Oh, brother, you're setting me
Santino
up for
Ferrucci interview, and we had to talk about Dale and his Cowboys.
I got to watch the documentary, so it was really cool to his era.
Oh, you watched that 70 or whatever that show was?
Yeah, his era of the Cowboys was actually.
Yeah. Did he tell you any of the behind the scenes stories?
No.
Oh,
no.
You got to get with him on those.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I'll ask him next time I see him.
But you're young, so you don't remember that era of Michael Irvin and those guys. A little crazy.
I told him, I was like, it's kind of the same with our sport. How you guys have set the rules in football now. You can't hit each other. You can't do certain things. Although you've increased the safety, you've taken the respect side of it out of it. We've done the same thing.
Yeah.
So we kind of fight the same rules and all that stuff. So it's just kind of, it's not what it used to be.
Yeah. Well, that is true. He talks about that all the time. It's pretty funny to see. So.
There you go, Dale. See, we talked about it. I just had to prove to Dale we actually talked about it.
Well, and that's funny that he did bring that up, and now, again, I forgot most of the conversation, but that jogged my memory. He's kind of bothered by what he called the softness of racing.
Yeah.
And again, I don't understand the difference between
it used to
be and what it
there's
is now.
There's penalties now, Dale, that if you swerve in front of an IndyCar series, at least, if you swerve into a guy aggressively, you can get a penalty for that, and you can go to the back of the it's gotten really soft. Yeah, it's gotten really soft.
All in the name of safety?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like football, now you can't hit guys across the middle, and whatever, defenseless receivers, quarterbacks. God, you look at them wrong and you flag.
Well,
But isn't that interesting?
I remember looking at him, and he was talking about, he hates that it's gotten so soft, and he likes to be aggressive. I'm looking at him going, "You're 127 pounds soaking wet."
Yeah, but he's got a 200 mile per hour thing wrapped around him.
I know.
So he's a little bit different. But no, isn't that interesting though? Because that's why I wanted to play it more so that we talked about the Cowboys. But he brought that up because, that also triggered my mind. Now this is the beginning part of it. I'll play the rest of it later on the pit stop today, and we'll put it out on social media as well because we get into the IndyCar talk. There's one point, Dale. Well, so basically, it's a hauler where they haul their cars and all their equipment and all that stuff. And at one point, they have to they start putting stuff up, and everything goes to the top of the hauler. So there's this elevator outside that goes. So how 3/4 of the way through the interview, all you hear is in the middle of the conversation.
So is that pretty cool to get to go in somebody's hauler?
It's rare that you get to go into them because they're like their home thing.
Yeah.
They actually have people don't even know this. They had and you could kind of see it. They have an enclave in there with computers so they can see things on the track. And that's private information.
Right.
That's proprietary stuff there for him and things like that. But that's in there. Of course, he's just got, fire suits just hanging there, all wrapped up.
So that was pretty cool for him to allow you
to
and
go in
Autumn and your son to come.
Yeah,
in
you
there.
can't just walk into these places.
Okay. Again, that's all news to me. I just walk in and go, "Oh, so hey, what are these numbers?"
Yeah, exactly. What does that mean there? No, it was cool that we did it in there because, like I said, because he can't. If he would have come out and we would have talked, people would have gathered around, and we were talking also at an hour because he was a little bit late with this meet and greet. So let's say an hour and 15 minutes before he actually had a race.
Yeah, that's
so it would
crazy.
Have been a deal. So we got to go in there and talk to him. So it is a little loud, and like I said, we didn't plan on it, so we had to adjust.
He seemed very relaxed and and
that's
conversational.
That's what I was telling you. It was, because I was cramming stuff real quick. I know about him, but I don't know. Hey, you raced in Britain on F3 and all that. So I was cramming that stuff,
right?
Because you don't know. You don't know if a guy's going to be talkative or not. I told you guys this before. My favorite, our interview with Tyler Reddick a few years ago. Hey, Tyler, how was your weekend? Good. Hey, what's it like when you're doing this? Fine. And you're just all right, old teeth here to get through this. But no, it was just I even had to interrupt him there on the Cowboys talk and be like, "Hey, do you mind if I ask some Indy questions?"
He doesn't even like the Cowboys.
No, he's a Giants fan.
Yeah.
So I had to tell him that. I go, that's cool. I go, when I was growing up, I was a Giants fan. With Lawrence Taylor and those guys and things. I said,
and he's going, "Lawrence who?"
I know, exactly. Oh, my grandfather talks about that guy.
Yeah.
So anyway, Dale, he remembers you is my point. But I was like, oh man, Dale always tells the behind the scenes stories.
Well,
especially with who you were dinner with.
Yeah. It was again. I was just more fascinated with some of the things he was saying.
Yeah.
Then and it's one of those things where if you sit down and you have an hour together, you're going to share both sides. But
I'll tell you this, because Luis Gonzalez, we played him earlier in the week because he remembers Dale as well. We got confirmation on that. But what you find is, I think, is especially athletes, professional athletes, and that side. Once they get out there and they see what these drivers do, the speed when you're there, because watching it on TV is one thing.
Yeah.
But being there, Ethan put some videos together. I don't have them for this show that we'll do on the pit stop later of just how fast these Indy cars are going. He held the camera steady at the start-finish line at the start of it. And all you see are blurs.
Yeah.
You miss that. Then the pit stops. I have videos of the pit stops coming up later on today. And you see that stuff. And I think it gives you an appreciation. And I think a lot of athletes, when they get out there and they see it, doesn't mean they're going to follow it all the time. Doesn't mean, but they get out there and I think they grow an appreciation to that sport and what they do, what they go through. I told you, I was shocked. They don't even have power steering in these things.
Yeah. That's the first time you found that out.
First time I might have known that, but it didn't. The way he explained it compared, because because normally when you meet with IndyCar guys, it's just Indy races there.
Right.
So there was a lot of talk this weekend of the differences between the cars, the differences between the entities and stuff like that. That I don't think you normally have those conversations. Like I never would have asked him, or we never would have talked about the O'Reilly series after the IndyCar series if I would have met him at any other racetrack.
Right.
Because it's not afterwards. Why would you even bring it up?
Well, what's fascinating, I think, to me when you talk about former professional athletes from other sports, baseball, it's like, okay, I watch you trying to hit a 90-mile-an-hour slider on TV. It's like, well, gosh, it's kind of right there.
Yeah.
But if you're like on the field,
It was 4 feet outside. What are you swinging at that for, you idiot?
but if you're on the field watching, go, whoa.
Yeah.
Same thing in football. You watch it on TV. Oh, that was kind of a vicious hit. If you're on the sideline, you realize how big and strong those guys are.
Yes.
And I would imagine the same way in car racing, which is fascinating.
100%. So there you go, Dale. Ferrucci Santino remembered you.
You're
At least as of Saturday.
You're welcome. I got some access.
We'll play the rest of the interview later on. But I also told you I had a conversation with Fat Joe over the weekend as well, Dale.
Do you have to change your name?
I feel
if
like
you
he
lose
does.
a certain
I feel
amount
like he
of
does.
a certain amount of weight.
I feel like he needs to call himself Slim Joe now. But this is interesting because, like I said, the first part of the call, like when I walked up to him, like I said, I signaled to him, like, because he had an entourage around him and everything. I signaled to him. I go, whew. And he like kind of lit up at me. Like he was like, oh. So I was like, all right, cool. I can walk up to him. I didn't want him to, So I walked up to him. The recording started a little bit late, but Dale, look at what I brought. I'm not saying I brought this out on him, but I guarantee you, Fat Joe, as he was walking around the NASCAR thing, and he was part of the red carpet there for the Cup Series, and where they bring celebrities after the drivers' meeting, and they walk down the red carpet. All these people line up and everything. It's a big deal, for these guys to be noticed and stuff like that. But I guarantee you, not one person or very few people mentioned his weight loss and all that stuff. They'll watch him. Now, I don't know how much Fat Joe can light up, but just watch him just start talking. And at one point, you'll see me start to walk away a little bit, and then he just keeps talking again, more about it, and on his plane ride over. Here we go. And again, same situation. Didn't plan on interviewing anybody. Recorded it on a phone. Cleaned it up as best as I can. Hey, Big Steve and Fat Joe. Old buddy.
Potato, the pasta, the rice. That's it. You cut that.
Is that all you did?
Skinny. Well, that and the exercise, but it's the carbs. I guarantee you it's that. If you could try to stay away from it. Yesterday I was on the plane. They brought out the food. It was all carved up. I was like, I fought the power. I was like, yo, you know what? I'm gonna wait till I land and eat me some protein.
I got an 18-year-old, and yesterday he was like, "We gotta go get pizza." See, that's my problem. You gotta tell him. You gotta tell him for me.
Ain't nothing better than pizza, huh? What's your favorite pizza?
Didn't go much more than that, but I don't want to take your time. I just wanted to say, man, try not wait, all right?
Look at you.
I literally turned to like walk away and just be like, "Hey, thanks, man," and walk away. He's like, "I thought I was on the plane yesterday," and I was just like, "Oh, we're not done." I did watch him, and he seems like a super nice guy. I'm not saying he's not, but I did watch him interact with other people, and it was like quick and
yeah.
So that's what you do, man. You got to hit people in the heart, Dale. Like he took it to heart that I recognized it, and I gave him props when I first walked up. I was like, I just want to say, man, congratulations on losing all that weight. You look fantastic. That's how I started it, and then it just went to that, And of course, we didn't get that recorded at the beginning and everything. But there you go, Dale. It's all about the carbs. He guaranteed, and this is a guy from New York, Carb Central there.
I will tell you. See, when you go to hit these other celebrities, where it makes them feel good. How long have I known you? Have you ever complimented me on anything?
No, I'm actually pissed off at you. Remember that time when we got the SCA shirts and you got the 3X and I got the 2X and the 2X was too tight on me? And folks, we switched shirts and the 2X hung off of Dale. What?
I was going to tell. So the reason it's kind
of pissed off. That was Fat Joe. I'd have been like, good job, Joe.
It's interesting that you say Fat Joe because just this morning, like when I was looking for shorts to wear to golf, and I always keep one pair of golf shorts from when I was super fat.
Yes.
And I'm still heavy, but fat.
No, yeah, you're not. Yeah, you're nothing. Like,
And
you're a skinny rail right now.
And I took them out of the drawer, and honestly, like if I put the right hip on there, there's another half a person.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Isn't that nuts? Yeah.
You
See, and
know?
I have that. I have a McCollum trait that we get. We put all of our weight. I put all my weight on my cheeks, my 3 chins, and my stomach. Other than that, I'm really not that chubby. It's just that's where it's at. So I got to get rid of that side and everything. But I can just tell you, man, we're just walking down where the cars are. They have them all staged, you know. And I saw him. And just the more I saw him walking around, I was just like, I gotta say something. It was just like I was drawn
You
to
knew
it.
who he was, or did somebody point him out?
No, it was funny at first because we were like sitting there and I was like, God, his name's like Joe Slim or Fat Slim or something. Like I was struggling to figure out his name.
Right.
And then Autumn walked over and got a picture of him, and everything. And I was kind of hanging back. And then she comes over and goes, "This says Fat Joe on his name." I was like, "Oh, we don't put government names on our credentials anymore." And I was like, "Oh, Fat Joe, yes, that makes sense." Part of the reasons I was struggling, like I said, I've gone since and looked up his music. I know a lot of his songs, a lot of hits.
Okay.
I just aren't going, I want to get the new Fat Joe album. Like I know who Lil Wayne is. And I know he goes, yeah, all the time, but I couldn't tell you the song names and stuff like that. So I knew who he was, but he threw me off, man, because he looks nothing like he used to.
Right.
Because of the weight loss.
He looks healthy. He looks happy.
The other thing when he goes, when I was on the plane, they're putting carbs out. I was like, wait, private plane? Don't you determine what they put out? Or were you on American this weekend? That's what
Or
I
Southwest.
wanted. Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. Which one were you on? But they don't throw carbs out on those types of planes for a domestic 5-hour flight from New York, do they?
Is that where he's coming from?
I don't know where he's got it.
I would think L.A., wouldn't it be?
I don't know. I know he's from New York, but I don't know.
Okay.
I know he spends a lot of time in Miami now.
Look at you, just hobnobbing, Luis, Ferrucci,
I know.
Slim Joe.
That's what we're gonna call him, Slim Joe.
Good
Of
weekend.
all of them, I am actually 100% shocked that Fat Joe was as cordial and was as friendly as he was.
Right.
Those rapper type guys just have a mystique about them, where it's kind of like they come from different parts of the world than I'm used to. Let's just put it that way. We don't have a lot in common.
The other thing, though, I think when you go into a certain situation, and again, I'm not going to compare myself to him or Ferrucci, but when you go into a situation, a lot of times you get your mind right. Like, okay, there's going to be a lot of people coming up to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to be cordial. I'm going to be friendly, whatever. And it's sometimes when you don't expect it, and all of a sudden you get hit by 5-6 people.
That I get. Yeah, you're going into a restaurant
Yeah.
and somebody throws, and then you're just like, ah.
Right.
No, I'm not saying he was. I didn't expect him to be mean or anything like that. But at the same time, it's like I don't like to bother people in those situations and stuff. But like I said, I was just walking up to be like, "Hey, man, you look fantastic. Great job." And then I was walking, and you even saw that there. I turned. And I was going to be like, "Hey, thanks, man." I literally turned to walk away, and he's like, "And on the plane." And I'm like, "Oh, let's not me be the rude one here."
hey, I'm not done.
So there you go, Dale. There's the conversation. It's all about the carbs and exercise.
So I know you've been out there many times.
Yes.
For many races.
Yes, many years.
It's mostly NASCAR, though, right?
It's always been NASCAR.
Okay.
As I've only covered it and doing what I do now in the Senate. I've been out there for IndyCar, like 2018. I was out there for that race, but I was a fan back then. I didn't do what I do now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you're a hobnob with some big
Even
hitters.
Autumn turned around and looked at me and goes, "Who are you?" Because I don't do that. I don't do that with people at all. I don't ask questions. I do my job. I get the interviews. I hobnob off of other, because everybody asks. Here's the secret. Most people ask the questions you want to ask. It's not like somebody, every once in a while you get somebody that's writing a story about, like Devin Booker, a story away from the court. So they'll ask pointed questions toward that. And you're like, what are you asking those questions for? And then they come out with an article and you're like, oh, That's why he was asking
Right.
that. So every once in a while you get that, but generally everybody asks the questions that you have out there. So I just sit there and hobnob off of people, let the guys that follow it do it and stuff like that. But even Autumn was like, "Who are you talking to all these people?" Yeah, I know. I don't know. I was possessed or something. I don't know. There you go. So Ethan's first time covering something meets Luis Gonzalez. Of course, Ethan doesn't know who Ethan goes, "Who's Luis Gonzalez?"
Oh.
I go, "He only hit the best hit in Diamondbacks history, bloop single." He goes, "Oh, I think I saw that in history class." He wasn't born until 2008,
I
7
know.
years after that.
That's crazy. Isn't
And
it?
then, so he was kind of like, "Who's that?" Even Patrick Warburton, though, he knew that actor because Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or whatever he's on. Ethan's into
See,
that stuff, so he knew him
that's
from
so
there.
weird. He knows him. I couldn't pick him out of a
Yeah.
lineup.
Yeah, you recognize the voice and Putty from Seinfeld.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Remember the New Jersey, the guy that painted himself in the New Jersey Devil stuff and things
Yes.
to that.
Oh, yeah.
So you'd recognize him, just the name you don't recognize, but you would recognize him and his voice, and but Ethan recognized him. You're right, and then Fat Joe, even Ethan's like, "Who's that?" It is kind of funny how it goes. So there you go, Dale. I got those all ready, cleaned them up as best as I could yesterday, and
Well, actually,
got him
but
up there.
I think both of them you can hear fine.
yeah. Oh no, it's just not crisp as
Right.
you'd like it to be on what we do here and everything. But like I said, wait till the pit stop later on, folks, and I'll put it out on social media after we record the pit stop. But it's funny when they start raising that elevator outside, you just get this loud right in the middle of the conversation. Hey, could you guys stop working for a second, please?
Hey, I'm not done with my interview.
Can you guys stop here? Appreciate it. I just got word here. Thomas, Autumn's youngest boy, I guess I should say, just turned 20 years old last week. He went to the UFC fight over the weekend. He met, they said they met CJ Stroud, by the way.
Oh, really?
Got a picture with him.
Okay.
Well, my question is, Autumn, did Thomas know who CJ Stroud was?
Is he not a sports guy?
Not a sports kid.
Okay. Well, I don't know if in a crowd.
Would
if I'm
you?
walking
That's what I
by-
was just gonna say. I'd recognize CJ Stroud if we were in the environment with Fat Joe where there wasn't a lot of people around him at the time. If we would have been in a crowd, I probably wouldn't have recognized him as easily. But I can tell you this right now: if CJ Stroud walked up in a crowded environment like at the UFC, I wouldn't recognize him.
Not unless somebody said, "Hey, CJ Stroud's here."
Yeah, partly because he's a Houston Texan. I just don't follow them as much
Right.
and stuff, right? But I mean, if Kyler Murray or Jacoby Brissett walked up in that environment, I'd recognize him. But I obviously follow the Cardinals and stuff to that effect.
Well, hold on.
right?
So let's address the elephant in the room.
By the way, he says CJ Stroud did cut his braids off, so he doesn't have the braids anymore, which would make it even harder to recognize him.
Yes.
Anyway, go ahead.
Autumn, you're Autumn. Your girlfriend, Autumn. Your sweetheart, Autumn.
All right, Dale's buttering her up.
She has a 20-year-old?
He has a 24-year-old.
What?
23-year-old? She's gonna yell at me now.
How do you
yeah.
do that when you're 35 or 40
Well,
years
Dale,
old?
when you're 25.
Explain that to me,
I'm
Steve.
not breaking that down.
Jeez.
I'm not breaking that down, Dale. Yeah, no, she's got two older ones. That's her third kid. Yeah.
She does not look like she's the mother of kids in their 20s.
Yeah. One of them has some big job with like I don't know, one of those investment firms and everything
Oh,
like
really?
that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. One of her second born, the daughter is the school teaching stuff and everything.
Wow.
Yeah, and then Thomas. Then there's Thomas.
Look at that.
Yeah.
You look like you could have a 25-year-old.
And I just have an 18-year-old.
I know.
Graduates here in a couple months, Dale.
And he's
Yikes.
off today. He works 2 days. He's off again?
Yeah.
Gets to sleep in?
No, well, he was up early. I can tell you that. He was up when I left. Yeah. Big day. Big day in the gaming world today, Dale.
Oh, what's coming out?
New Call of Duty maps for, I think, the zombies come out at 9 a.m. our time today. So 30 minutes and him and his buddies that stream and everything are going to stream the new maps and play them and all that stuff.
So how much is this going to cost?
Nothing. We already own the game. Yeah.
But
It's going to cost him. He's not getting paid because he's not working today.
but it doesn't cost to get the new Call of Duty.
No, it's just an update. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. See, I don't
So it doesn't
understand
cost
that.
anything from that side. Yeah. So it just cost him that he's not getting paid today because he's not doing anything. Although I will say we were up last night. I mean, we were here all day yesterday, and then we were up last night cutting some videos to play for the pit stop later on and stuff like that. He did a good job putting them together and everything. So he did it. He worked late last night. We were working on it from like 7 to I think 9:30 is when he got done with his portion of it, and I took it over for a few things tonight, including those videos you just saw there as well. So he worked late last night, so I guess he can have today off. He'll be back tomorrow, Dale. He'll be
Okay.
back tomorrow. Maybe. We'll see how the game goes today first. But so
Maybe
there you
he's
go.
setting records.
Fat Joe and Steve. Fat Joe and Big Steve.
Fat Joe and Ferrucci.
Yeah, Ethan says it comes out at 9:30 a.m. So Ethan's watching right now too.
So like at 9:30, you can click update and you get the new Call of
It
Duty.
downloads, yeah. Well, it just downloads it. It's just an update, and it downloads. You get updates every week. Like every Wednesday, there's a new update. Yeah, doesn't mean you get a new map. You get new maps every time a season ends and stuff like that.
Now, will you play when you get home tonight? There's really nothing on TV.
I don't like the zombie maps as much on this version of Call of Duty as I have other ones. I'll just put it that way. Will I play it? Yeah, just to check it out, and he's fun to play with and stuff like that. But I don't go out of my way to play the zombies on this version of Call of Duty. I'm just not. I just get bored. It gets frustrating, Dale. It gets
Okay.
frustrating. But yeah, that's the problem. Not a lot going on tonight. I mean, we got to watch Italy, Mexico, in the World Baseball Classic.
Why?
Are the Americans going to move on or not?
It's out of their control.
I know.
They didn't even know that it was that it was in their control.
If you don't know what Dale's talking about, the manager of the team on a show yesterday,
The manager of the American
American
team.
team, said, "Oh, it's so great we clinched their spot to the next round last game," and they hadn't.
And so, and go on further. So, if there's a tie, if you end up 3-1, 3-1, or whatever it
Goes
is,
for a tiebreaker.
then it goes runs scored or runs against or
Run scored. Yeah. So they were down 8-0 at one point yesterday, where it was like they need Italy to win. But now they have a chance if Mexico wins today. But we'll get into that coming up here. But they do have a chance if Mexico wins today. That game is at 4 p.m. our time here today. Italy and Mexico today.
Aaron Judge looked like you or I up there to bat when they could have tied the game.
In the ninth inning?
Yeah.
Okay. Aaron Judge doesn't show up in the playoffs.
No.
Dominates the regular season. Has been there the World Baseball Classic. Every game's been the starter of the offense, jacking home runs, getting on base. And then yesterday, looked like he'd never played baseball. Looked like playoff Judge again yesterday. Like I don't get the ebbs and flows of this man. He's one of the greatest baseball players. And the ebbs and flows of him at the I don't understand why he struggles so much at times. I don't know how else to phrase it. Yankees fans, a lot of Yankees fans agree with me on that, but still it's like, what? Robert says, I think Ethan needs a union rep. He should be salaried.
He is.
Yeah, he is. He gets a daily rate, Robert. How about that answer? But yeah. First of all, Robert, you want this show to continue? You want our costs to go through the roof? You want us to be like the WNBA right now, where the deadline for the season to start is here, and both sides just eat donuts all day long and don't talk, and then just walk away and go, yeah, well, we just won't play the season. Everybody have a good day. You want us to be like that? No urgency whatsoever between the WNBA and the WNBA Players Union. Zero urgency to get this solved to start their season. And then here's the danger. Is anybody going to care if they don't start their season? That's the danger they're flirting with.
That therein lies the rub. If your product doesn't garner enough interest to have people miss it,
Yes. What if someday we all go, like they're going to settle this in like July, and we all go, oh, WNBA hasn't been playing? And you're talking to somebody, by the way, that watches games. I'll have it on the TV, because there's not a lot of other stuff on in the summertime. But I'll have it on TV, and I'll watch some of the high-profile games. I'll watch some of the best players out there. And when I'm saying this as a more than casual fan of it, that's alarming.
yeah.
That's alarming. How many people are just going to tune in the right? They do say, though, talks are in the right direction after a 12-hour day yesterday.
Really?
What they all do? Turn to the south?
Take a left.
After a marathon 12-hour bargaining session. They're arguing over two things. How do you have a 12-hour bargaining session when it comes down to two things? Revenue sharing and the amount of money and different entities from that point. But it comes down to money. What do you mean you're having a marathon bargaining session? We want to give you 30% of revenues. We want 50. We're going to give you 30. We want 50. We'll give you 32. We want 50. We'll give you 33. We'll go down to 48. Does that take 12 hours, Dale? And then you just get in the middle somewhere.
You would think it would. I have not followed it closely, so.
Yesterday was the day where the WNBA said they'd given the union yesterday's date in order for the 2026 season to not be impacted. Don't forget, they have to draft still. They have free agency draft before their season starts. So you're not going to have a draft here coming up. So yesterday was the date the WNBA. That's why it's an important date yesterday, and they met. Yeah.
Well, what's interesting, just so the people who don't follow it, I follow it somewhere in between the people who don't follow it and you.
Yeah.
But
it's happening. You don't
Yes.
don't sit down and watch it.
the women's college basketball tournament is fixing to get started here soon. And then they get done with that, and they immediately go to the WNBA draft,
Not
and then they
this year.
immediately go into the season.
Not this year. We're getting a preview of baseball next year, Dale. Right now. Here's how important the meeting was yesterday. Hey, this is the final day that we can have before the season gets impacted. Do you think it's like do you wake up yesterday morning and you go, you know what? We need to get to talking early here right now. Like, let's get together 8 a.m. Let's start the conversation at 8 a.m. It's an important day. No, Dale. It's so important to these guys that they started meeting at 5 p.m. Eastern time yesterday. That's how important this was to them.
Well, they had other stuff to do during the day.
Something more important than their league getting started and solving this money problem? Any other time, I don't know about you, Dale, but when I have something important on my plate, I'm like, let's get it done early.
Right.
And these guys are like, hey, 5 p.m. What do you say? 5 p.m. Dinner time. Let's call in some dinner, get it delivered, and we'll just start there. We'll be done by 6:30. That's how important. It's stupid. It's just stupid. They don't care. They want to try to. I'll argue to the point here that the owners don't want the season to start on time. They're more concerned about the revenue amount, but the owners could care less. They're not going to get hurt if they don't play 2 months of the season, 3 months of the season. They're not going to get hurt. The players are going to get hurt.
Yes.
That's the argument that I would make here, and the owners probably don't care, Dale. The owners are going to make money because they don't have to pay the players. So that's the problem. That's the problem that the Players Association.
And that's not a good negotiating place to be if you're the other side.
Yeah. We want more money. That's great. We'll make more money if we don't play this season.
Yeah.
So good for you as well. So Robert says, my analogy is even better now. Because he says, hold on. Let me go back here. He says, I ignored one of his comments, but I am going to say it. The U.S. World Baseball Classic team took their opponent lightly DeRosa, who's the manager there, is the new Lovello. He says that first. Then he says, my analogy is even better now because, Dale, last night after the game, manager Mark DeRosa came out and he said, quote, I misspoke. Completely misread the calculation. You're the manager. You should know this.
It's the only thing that matters. Moving on from pool play. What are the rules?
Yes. And nobody else went, hey, man, you got to beat Italy today to definitely advance and have it in your control. Nobody said that to him? Where's the executives on that side? Also, Robert says, Robert Chambers says this. Negotiating with women, good luck. Spoken like a true married man.
So are you saying his name, but that's actually how you feel?
Nope. I did not say it. I just read what was on my screen. I'm just saying, Robert's a married man. It's very obvious. Robert's a married man. So we'll find out. It's going to be, last night was a monumental, and my favorite part about it, Dale, as I told you off air, is the U.S. team lost to the U.S. team of players that aren't good enough to make the U.S. team. So they just went and played on the Italy team because somebody in their family, is from Italy at one point in time, and they have the heritage. That's who they lost to yesterday. Monumental upset yesterday for the U.S. team. If they don't make it to the next round, just think of the goodwill. Hockey gets to the gold medal game, beats Canada. Even the Four Nations tournament, you all rally around it. And then our heavily favored baseball team, them in Japan, the best USA team ever fielded. And they get knocked out today? Oh, my gosh.
While they're sitting at the hotel?
Yeah. And then they're all going, oh, we should have baseball in the Olympics again. We need to have baseball. Why? You guys obviously don't want to play properly in it.
Ooh. Boy, you can.
They were down 8-0 yesterday, Dale. It was atrocious. I had it on while we were editing videos and stuff, and I was like, why is this trash on? This is garbage, what we're seeing right now.
They're playing like a spring training game.
They were playing like a team that thought they had clinched a berth into the next round, and they didn't want to do anything. That's what they were playing like. And it was just like, what are you doing out there? Oh, so depressed now. Come on back, folks. I'm going to go take my happy pills. The main event continues on. And we're back here. Yeah, Dale's getting all excited about racing. I don't know. Maybe we need to make that call and get us set up for Indy 500 coming up in May.
I just soon sit in an RV in the infield and listen to the roar of the engine.
We can arrange that too as well. Out there, I'm sure we can arrange that. Only money, Dale. We can do whatever we want. You have enough of it.
Which you do.
Pit stop. I got to front the whole thing?
I'll buy dinner. I'll take
Oh,
you.
at what's it called?
I'll take you to San Elmo's.
Only if we get the tour where Mark Sanchez got stabbed by that guy after trying to beat up that 70-year-old man.
There's certain things you don't forget, and they're usually negative things.
Don't pick a fight with an old guy who's just trying to do his job, and then you get the worst of it. Don't ever pick a fight with an old guy who's trying to do his job, or anybody trying to do their job.
Right.
First of all, but second of all, you better make sure you don't get the worst of it at the end, because then you get fired. How do you get fired on your day off and stabbed on your day off, and you started it?
It's like that Robin guy chasing after Nolan Ryan.
Yeah, exactly.
Only get your butt whooped.
No, but gives them the business. Yeah, it's just whatever, man. But actually, it's I know that alleyway is right around the corner from that restaurant, so wouldn't have to go far. I wonder if there's like a sign there or something. This is where Mark Sanchez
Life took a detour.
Do a life lesson there on life and all that stuff out there as well. So, Bobby Hurley, let's see, 9:30, the game gets started here against Iowa State here this morning as well. But let's go to NFL here to NBA here really quick. Suns get the win last night against the Bucks. Bucks they're playing better now than they did play earlier in the season. But the Suns played really well, to the point where Doc Rivers after the game was saying they play like a team. They play hard. They're hard to beat. They're hard to play against. Even Doc Rivers was what we saw earlier this season. The opposing team coach is like, these guys are scrappy and good. Like, that was hard to play those guys. And we need to play like this if we're going to compete in this league.
Right.
It was fun to see Doc Rivers say what we heard earlier this season about the Suns, because I felt the Suns played that way last night for the first time in a long time. What's the difference last night compared to previous weeks leading up? Well, the last several games, let's put it that way. Goodwin was back in the lineup last night, and the team looked different.
Goodwin was back in there. It seemed like they got some energy drinks in them before the game. They played the brand of basketball that even if they would have lost that game, they're a joy to watch.
I agree.
Hustling. They're picking up Milwaukee like 3/4 court.
Yeah.
Hustling, playing, and the other thing is you got to remember, I think Milwaukee shot 18, 19, 20 free throws in the first half to the Suns 5.
Yes.
And so they're playing physical and they weren't getting the calls, but yeah, you look at the contributors.
Booker got teed up there late in the second quarter. He got mugged.
I mean, you got Goodwin who came in, made a huge contribution in his 14 minutes. Malawach, he's kind of fun to watch out there.
This is what I want to talk about. Malawach and Fleming got in, and then Haywood Highsmith got in this game. 13 minutes for him.
Yes.
So you can attribute the way they looked a little bit to Goodwin coming back in this game, because he's obviously a pivotal piece. But I'm sorry, Dale, and I've been saying it for a while. Get these young guys in this game. They do something when they're on the court. Yes, they have a lot to learn. Yes, they're going to make mistakes at times. But even having Highsmith out there, when they're out there on the court, you see a different team than we've seen over the last month.
You see a different
month and a half.
energy.
Yes. And how have you not been able to see that? It goes back to the old Bol conversation we used to always have. Bol's not the greatest basketball player on the planet. But my God, when he stepped on that court, you saw something change with the team. And you see that with these young guys. Malowitz, he's getting a confidence out there. You can literally see it every game happening now with him getting more playing time, with Williams out and stuff to that effect. I think it's a combination of everything here where these young guys, whether you like it or not, right? Dale, you played in the NFL for 17 years. I know it's a different sport. But I'm willing to bet that a young guy getting an opportunity, somebody gets injured and a young guy, like you see his, like just having Ethan out at the NASCAR race over the weekend. To me, it's like, here we go again. I've done this for the last 20 years. Let's go do this. And you're going to get stuck in your way. Just having somebody out there that's like, okay, this is exciting. What do I do? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. It just changes your energy level. And I think we're seeing that a little bit with the Suns as well.
Well, to me, it's two-pronged. Because obviously you have that. In the Goodwins, the Malawatches, the Flemings, the Highsmiths. But then the other thing is, I think for the first time now, it seems like Jalen Green is incorporating himself into the offense. It's not, I'm going to take 30 shots.
Yes.
I got Devin Booker right there. I'm going to make an extra pass here and there. Not that he didn't take his shots, but he also shot 50%.
10 of 20.
So is he feeling more comfortable?
He's only 3 of 10 from threes. Yeah. So stop shooting threes.
I would suggest that. Shoot free throws and shoot 2-pointers. Drive to the basket, because when he drives to the basket, he is, the one thing you got to say, he is dynamic. And when he drives to the basket.
Yes. The game changes.
Yes.
Hey, Dale, did you see this last night? Play the Goodwin here. Goodwin is sick. This is how talented this kid is when he's not sitting at the three-point line and shooting and missing and breaking threes out there. Here's Green last night.
Is talking about, is Antetokounmpo going to stay? Are they going to trade him? So that plays on everybody's mind.
Here's the thing. Look at the bench.
Jalen Green with an
ankle-breaking
move.
He's so dynamic that the opposing defender, who's a decent defender in the league, had to lay off him so much, and then he just stopped on that dime, and the guy couldn't recover.
No.
My favorite part, though, is when he points at him. The bench, if you watch the bench in that corner, Malowich, Fleming, all laughing and celebrating and having fun with it and everything. There was something different about this team last night.
Yes.
That we haven't seen lately.
Right. That we saw for the first 35, 40 games that we haven't seen for a little while. Now, the other guy is, and he's become one of my favorites, is Colin Gillespie.
Yes.
I mean, he was a point and a rebound.
You were high on him last year.
He was a point and a rebound away from a triple-double.
Yes. I know they needed to get it to him.
Hey, they did for Bam out of bio.
Yeah, if you could pass the Bam and get him down the line enough to get him to 83, you could do that for Colin to get him to that triple-double, right? Now we'll have to see if it's sustained, because this isn't an easy road trip. It's easy. It's easier in the first 3 games than it is in the second 3. But they play like they do last night. Even if they lose some games, you're going to not be upset. You're going to have confidence in them moving forward if they play this way. But I just don't get why, and it brings back bad Coach Bud feelings. Play the young guys, man. We've been saying it all year, especially Fleming. But get Malawach out there, even if it's 5 minutes for a game. Get him out. You're seeing his confidence get a little bit better every game out there. Now, is he going to be able to play against the Joker? No, probably not. Right? At this stage, most guys can't, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But get him out there, do something. And then Goodwin last night. I know Goodwin was a good piece on this team. I think we all underestimated. I think we're all more worried about Brooks being out. I think Goodwin has shown he's another integral piece to this team. Like him, Booker, Gillespie, Grayson Allen, in my eyes, you need him healthy and on the court. And then Brooks is the other guy out there. Those 5 guys need to be on the court, and the Suns team can perform and win games.
I love the way they played last night. It's a good start to this road trip, as you said. The last 3 games of this, I mean, we end a 6-game road trip in San Antonio.
Yeah, but then a back-to-back.
Yeah.
The 2 games before that on top of it against 2 good teams, with Celtics and I'm forgetting the other team. 2 good teams, though. Two good teams that they have to play. Oh, no, Celtics are in this. I forget now. This is terrible. So, yeah, get your 3 wins that we're expecting now. Because I'll tell you this. Last night was so much fun watching them. My record of 2-4 on this road trip, I look stupid doing that now.
Okay, so right now, their next game is Thursday. They play at Indiana.
Yep.
4 o'clock tip-off here with now the time changes. Then they go to Toronto
Back to
on
back.
Friday.
Yep.
So they had to cross a country
Go across
country
the
line.
border, yeah. And then they're off till Monday, right?
Then they're off till Monday. They got Boston, Minnesota, San Antonio.
That's right. Boston, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Minnesota doesn't worry me. I mean, they can compete with them, but on the second night of a back-to-back, no, that's a different story. That's going to be a very, very tough game
Yes.
for them because of the back-to-back. Tougher than it would have been if they didn't have the back-to-back and stuff like that.
You know, the Lakers won last night, and they jumped up to the number 4 spot.
We finally figured out, because the Nuggets and the other team are struggling.
Well, Timberwolves are struggling.
Yeah.
Well, they're not really struggling. They're 7-3 over the last 10, but they lost the last 2.
It just the Lakers are red hot right now.
Yeah.
We finally found out what's wrong with Luka. Because I kept saying to you guys, there's something off with him, and he kept talking about, what are you looking down for? And he kept talking about how he's got personal issues and stuff like that. Yeah, his baby mama, they're not together anymore, and he's having to fight for custody of his kids and stuff with him.
What's going on with all these high-profile athletes? You got Dak Prescott, who's supposedly salt of the earth. There's issues going on there.
Well, yeah, like I said, she's doing him a favor because if she don't want to sign that prenup, that tells you everything you need to
And
know.
at least that's the off season for Dak.
Yeah, that's a difference. That's not in the. It's different if you're going through a divorce because you can go onto the court and play. But man, your kids get kept from you and
Yeah.
stuff like that. That's gonna mess with you, and stuff to that effect. So I'm not. You look down like I was gonna bash him or something, but no, it's a serious thing. I will not fault a man. If when the kids get involved in these situations, I will not fault a man to be distracted with the kid. If it's a regular divorce, man, sack up. You're an NBA player. You can have your rebound gal by the end of the game. Just pointing in the stands. But when the kids get involved, that's a different. I can understand you being distracted with that. That's all I can say on that.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of history. With
Relationship so you got the pit stop, you got this show.
I'm gonna do a relationship
You got the
advice
money
show.
show. You need to do a relationship
that. Yeah, I'm
show.
going to do a relationship show. Yeah. We'll fix this.
When do you sack up, Steve?
Yeah, exactly. Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. She doesn't want to get married to me anymore. Okay. There'll be somebody else. Enjoy life. See you later.
Oh, boy. Saving one marriage at a time, old Stevie McCollum.
That's what I do. Know what you got, people. Know what you got. I'm in trouble. I gotta send some texts. Come on back, folks. Second hour main event. Coming up next. And we're back here. I survived the breakdown. That's because people are phone away. I don't have to worry about that. I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum. Well, we'll see how I react later on today or not. If I need makeup for bruising later on, we'll see. 17-year NFL veteran Dale Hillistrace over here to my right. Have we
You're
determined-
left, but number
you-
one.
Yeah, you're left on your screen, but to my right, I don't know. I get confused on this.
So we during the break,
We've named the show. We have named the show.
It's a short break. Steve still hasn't extended it. Barely have time to
The
stand up.
people
and
that
sit
watch
down.
us, Dale, don't want to sit through 10 minutes of commercial
Not
break.
10 minutes.
What are we, radio now?
You need to time me walking to the bathroom and walking back.
Do we need to hear huzzah 7,000 times during a break?
So he's got the pit stop.
Yeah.
He's got Money with McCollum.
But call them on business.
Same thing.
7 a.m.
Yes.
on demand right now.
You're getting up bright and early.
Yep.
And now the Love Guru with Sidekick Autumn.
Yes. Autumn texted in with laughing emojis.
Yeah. And it'd just be Autumn. She really wouldn't have to show up. She could just give Steve the side eye and say, and just voice over a couple things. That's stupid.
Yeah. She goes, only if I get to be a special guest on the show. Yeah, the whole show will be me spewing relationship stuff
Nonsense.
that you need to know. And the show would be Autumn going the whole time.
What am I doing with you?
Oh, she knows what she got herself into. I'm not quiet about it, Dale.
No. Well, you guys have been together long
Hold
enough.
on.
It's like,
Am I wrong though? You are a football player, you have kids with somebody, and you're like, hey, I gotta protect obviously assets, not just for you, but for your kids' future as well. And you're like, hey, we gotta do a prenup here and everything. And they go, that's not enough money for me.
Oh.
I'd be like, well, thank you for showing your true self.
because I'm pretty sure that it's not, if we get divorced, I keep everything, you get nothing.
Yes, yeah. Yes, she's going to be taken care of.
Yeah.
Now I get it. You could have some conversations and stuff like that. I'm not bashing women. There's guys are starting to fall on this edge as well, with guys and prenups and stuff. But it's just to me, it's just a turn off. Because I have a feeling, because you said it, Dax is super nice, dude. I have a feeling
Seems like it.
I don't think he's one of those guys that's just shorting. I could be wrong, but I don't think he's like, I'll give you $100,000.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm keeping the $250 million.
Yeah.
I'll give you $2,000 a month in alimony, and
I don't think he's doing that. And I get it. I understand the other side of it, but to me, it'd just be like, all right, then this isn't working out.
I like the athletes that put. I don't like it. I wouldn't ever be able to do it. But I never had that much money that they like give incentive clauses.
Yeah.
We stay every year. We stay together.
Yeah,
You get
exactly,
another
yeah.
bonus.
Yeah, you don't talk, you don't cheat, you get this bonus, you get all this stuff, right? Like, yeah, it's man, if you have to incentivize people for that, why even do it?
Well, as I'm sitting here on the eve of my 38th
know.
wedding anniversary.
I know you guys celebrated it last Friday, but it is tomorrow officially.
Yes.
So, speaking of Love Guru with Steve McCollum, first episode here. Dale,
Yes.
what are you doing with your beautiful bride who obviously needs therapy? What are you guys doing tomorrow night?
It's a low key anniversary. 38. You know,
Yeah, you don't really
it's a
celebrate.
Ruby or something anniversary. It's like, we'll wait till 40 if I'm still around.
So nothing?
No, we're gonna go to dinner at a very nice restaurant. I don't want to say it because I don't want
you don't want the
throngs.
mobs to show up.
Yeah, I don't want all the press and media.
Yeah, going. I'm gonna show up and be like, Brooke, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Blink twice if you need help.
All of a sudden, Steve and Autumn are there with an interview ready to
Yeah,
go.
exactly. Blink twice if you want to leave.
Do you need help?
Yes. Here's a list of therapists.
38 years. That's
Mater D. She needs more wine. She needs more wine.
Steve, 38 years.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
That's a long time.
I couldn't imagine. I ain't gonna lie to you.
38.
Dale, I get annoyed if my shoes are a year old.
Well, you're not, but Autumn's not your shoes.
Here comes the
Yeah.
love guru.
Autumn's not your shoes.
I, why am I always getting in trouble?
But yeah, no, I seriously, when I think back to 26-year-old Dale,
Because you got married late too.
yeah, 26,
Yeah,
20,
that's what I mean.
yeah.
Yeah. Back then, in your day, though, people got married at
Again, a lot of people got married early.
21.
Yeah. And 26-year-old, if you just said in almost 40 years, you're still going to be with the same
Yeah.
woman.
When you said the words "for the rest of my life," you didn't mean it.
In what's that line?
I don't know. I
In
can't-
good health and
yeah,
bad.
Exactly. Yeah. You're like, I won't be around for that. I don't care. 40 years later, you're like, dang. That's like me when I was at Sherwin-Williams. I was like, I'm working here for 10 years and I'm getting the hell out of here. 22 years later, I'm like, what am I still doing here?
22 years, yeah.
Mm.
How long we been doing this show, speaking of time together? Any idea?
3 or 4 years now.
Because I have no idea how long I've been doing high school games for Cox.
Yeah. I get confused on our time frame here in this entity because COVID screwed up the other stuff because it was just like, what? And then I overlapped for a while. So at least 3 years, I want to say. I mean, we might be coming up on our 4th year coming up in May.
Are we going to have a celebration?
If you want, what do you want to do?
I
Yeah, because Dale, the one thing you've learned about me over the years is I like celebrations.
I want a cake. I
Okay.
want
Okay.
a trip.
2?
Not with you.
No. Dale's like, Brooke and Autumn and I are going on a trip to California.
Oh, good.
You have to stay here and do the show.
Yeah, I mean, somebody's got to stay here.
Yeah, no, that is 38 years. That's impressive.
Yes. I got to give myself a.
And God bless you, Brooke.
I guess. Yes. For two people being together that long, you got to give kudos to both.
But I'll even take it a step farther, if I may here. Being married to a professional athlete is not an easy thing because you disappeared for 6-8 months out of the year.
Well, not necessarily, but
You were distracted.
from for the first 12 years of our marriage, 13 years of our marriage. You know, I mean, 6 months of the year we were in another place.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Then we come here.
Yeah.
Obviously,
But I mean, during the week, yes, you went home and you saw her and all that stuff, but you're beat up, film study, you're
Yeah.
tired. You know, Jimmy just got done yelling at you about how bad your blocking was. Troy just got sacked 17 times. So you go home in a bad mood and stuff like that. Like, that's not easy to deal with.
Well, and the one I think good thing for football is the fact that your road trips are you leave
Yeah.
at the earliest on a Friday, you come back Sunday night.
Yeah.
You're not on these 2 week.
2 weeks. Like baseball. Like
Yeah.
the Suns right now, six games,
which is a
are
couple
2
weeks worth. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you have to send your clothes out for dry cleaning a couple times because you're gone for so long. That is true about football, but I just couldn't imagine like waking up Sunday morning after a game, you know, and like you can't move, you know, and you're like, oh, and you're like, I gotta get to practice, and just having, just couldn't imagine it. Then you had to deal with the attitude, you know, I'm an NFL player. Roar!
No, we were actually talking about this the other night because Graham and Beckett are getting new beds. They're going to be 6 and 4 here next month.
Wow.
They're getting new beds because the
Gosh,
baby's
she's 4
coming, man.
already.
Yeah, you met Graham when he was like 3 and you cussed in front of him.
I dropped some F-bombs.
Yeah.
I think he was younger than 3.
Yeah, he might have been 2.5. Why is Big Steve talking like that?
I want to say Beckett was born
Well,
either right as we were leaving the radio station or right after we left.
yeah, it's right around there.
that time frame. So yeah.
So she'll be fine. They're gonna get new beds, but so it made Hillary and I talk about the bed we got Hillary when she was 4, 5, 6 years old was a regular bed, but it had rails around it,
Yeah.
and she wouldn't allow me to sit in a chair outside the bed to read her a book. She made me get in.
And this is football day.
Yes. And there were times where Brooke would come in late at night and go, I couldn't get out. And this is back when I'm 35,
Yeah.
not 64. Oh, goodness.
I'm sorry, that's hilarious.
Well, and the last thing I'll say about my family, we can move on to this great free agency stuff, is Hillary would literally fall asleep, and her favorite books were the Bernstein Bears.
Awesome books.
And she loved them. And I would be reading. I'd look over. She's sleepy.
Ugh.
And so I'd skip a page. And all of a sudden she'd go, Daddy, go back a page. I'm like, you are unbelievable.
Yeah, they know what's up.
Yes, come
She's
on.
out. My dad's the cheat.
Yeah.
If you cheat at reading me books, what do you do on the football field? Is that what she said?
Oh, goodness.
So, yeah, Dale's going to take off and play some golf here today, or coming up here. I'll talk about Bam's 83 here and the nonsense that is. Wilt, Bam, Kobe.
What rolls right off the tongue. It's like Troy Michael Dale.
Well, I'm leaving that conversation up to you. But I want to talk, obviously, because NFL, you've had multiple physicals in your day.
Yeah.
You've talked about it here multiple times. When you went to the draft, you didn't know that people had X'd you off because of a back injury that you didn't even know you had.
Right.
But everybody, and one guy determined it and stuff like that. Here's the thing that interested me on this Crosby situation. If you don't know and you're living under a rock, Crosby was traded to the Baltimore Ravens.
2 first-round picks.
Shows up, does his physical, and the Baltimore Ravens nix the deal based off the physical. This is where it gets fascinating to me. Forget about the implications now, because the Raiders signed Lindbaum from the Baltimore. I'm wondering if maybe that has something to do with this. But anyway, that's conspiracy theory Steve here.
Yeah.
But the Raiders are screwed. They just added $70 million back to their salary cap, or whatever it is, $60 million back to the salary cap. All these other teams have made moves. Before we even get to that, Dale, Max Crosby has a knee issue. We've known about it. That's why the Raiders shut him down at the end of the year.
He had a procedure in January.
Yeah, but do you remember Max Crosby is playing basketball, putting videos out, saying, "You're not shutting me down. I'm willing to play. I'm going to play. I'm going to play. I'm healthy enough to play." Then he has the procedure in January. Everybody knows the procedure has happened. It's not like they kept it from people and he got to Baltimore, and Baltimore's like, "Wait, what?" This just throws more wrinkles into my, what a drama queen Max Crosby is. He purposely threw shade against the Raiders, who shut him down because his knee injury was so bad he needed surgery in January. They just wanted to shut him down. Then they trade him per his request, by the way. And now he fails it in Baltimore. Now you could argue Baltimore is being picky about this, but it's their right. 2 first-round draft picks is a big give up for somebody that you can determine. Remember the Amari Stoudemire situation here in Phoenix. They didn't re-sign him because they said 3-4 years from now his knee is going to be so bad it's not going to be worth the contract. Not now.
And by the way, Robert Sarver made the right decision, although he got hammered.
Because for 2 years, Stoudemire looked
Yes.
like himself, and then he didn't, and it turned out to be true.
Yeah.
But what is happening with Max Crosby, where he said he was healthy enough to play when the Raiders shut him? Obviously, he wasn't, Dale. There's something with this knee that scared Baltimore. Like I said, if you want to put your conspiracy hat on like I do and say, Ravens are like, "You signed Lindenbaum, you signed our center? All right, we're going to ship Crosby back to you now." But if Hendrickson's there, this is what I don't get. If Hendrickson's available, he's a really good rusher. Hendrickson is from Cincinnati. Why did you give up 2 firsts for Crosby
When you could just sign.
when you could have just signed Hendrickson? There's so many questions to this I don't get. But you've been in the physical side of things here, and the last thing before you take off today, you've been in the physical side of things. And you know what they do and all that stuff. This had to be pretty alarming when they looked at this knee to where the Ravens went, "Nope, not worth the 2 points, not worth the contract to pay you, and not worth the first 2 draft picks.
2 first rounders.
First 2 first round, your knee is done. Your knee is on the downside here coming up. This had to be something major with this knee coming up.
Well, as far as me personally, so I've told the story a number of times. The fact that I found out 5 years into my career that probably 20 of the 30 teams or 20 of the 28 teams in the NFL red flagged me because of my back. That means there were 20 NFL doctors who said this is going to hamper him. He's not going to be able to play long, whatever. But there are still 8 who says we're the shot.
Yeah.
And so each team.
But I'm sure, I don't mean to interrupt you, but since it's pertinent to this, but that could be that a team's just like, it's not worth it because there's this other guy we can get similar without a back problem, without a back question.
The only thing I'd argue on that is that they're not, when you're doing draft stuff, they're not going, it's between this guy and this guy. Okay. You're just saying you're looking at.
That's why I wanted to ask. Yeah. That's why I wanted to ask. Because I could see somebody going, well, you got Hellestrae and you got this guy.
They're about
similar players, but he's got, it might be healthy, but it might not be, so we'll go with it. Okay, so that's not the case.
No, because you're doing this pre-draft stuff.
That's why I want to interrupt, because it was pertaining to that. So,
and so there were 8 teams who said, hey, they didn't red flag me, and obviously the Buffalo Bills are one of them. Now you fast forward to, I'm with the Cowboys for 11 years. Well, each year you go in for a physical before the season. And starting about year 3 with the Cowboys, every year I went in, the team doctor said, by playing another year, your hip is deteriorating. Mm-hmm. Probably wouldn't pass you if you're a new guy coming in here on your physical. But we know you.
Yeah.
We understand you. We see you. So that's totally up to you if you want to continue to play.
Yes.
But again, with this Crosby thing in Baltimore, there's so many side issues. Did Baltimore have buyer's regret? Hey, gosh, we gave up 2 when Hendrickson's still out here.
Yeah.
Now, I know Hendrickson's 3 or 4 years older than Crosby.
But he still puts up numbers.
Yes, but you don't have to give up anything.
You're not giving up 2 drafts. You can now go draft the guy to replace him.
Do the Baltimore Ravens team doctors have less
Robert brings up, he said, don't the Ravens have a history of failing physicals? I don't know if it's a history. This is the first high profile one they've done. But yeah, I think it's 4 other players. But guys, Michael Brockers in 2020, Ryan Grant in 2018, and Brock Marion in 97.
Yeah, I did read about, because I played with Brock Marion. He had a shoulder.
So yes, they do. But it's not to this level.
No.
The Ravens have screwed everybody that wanted Max Crosby has moved on, including the Cowboys.
And yet here you go. The Raiders have to take him back.
And it kills their salary cap.
And they've lost all leverage. Some team now could probably come in and say, hey, we'll give you a 1 maybe or a high 2.
I think Cowboys were 1st and 2nd, right?
Yes. But that was, again,
before they
failed a physical.
Well, and then but then they traded for that other guy, so they're probably out of it.
Yeah,
so now you can get a 1st and a 3rd or a 1st and a 4th type of a deal. But the bigger thing is the Cowboys have the Raiders have signed all these people, not thinking they had salary cap problems, and now they have a giant one. Now, this is the problem with the legal tampering period and stuff like that. I know some people like Pro Football Focus put out there, you shouldn't be allowed, you should pass the physical before you announce any trade and stuff to that effect to avoid this situation. This is a terrible, terrible look for the NFL. Now imagine if his knee's not that bad. What if every other team, or he gets traded to another team, and that team now, Dale, let's just say the Cardinals, I'm just going to throw it out because they're the home team, the Cardinals trade for Max Crosby, give up whatever for him. What's 99% of the questions going to be about Max Crosby? You've cut the legs out from underneath Max Crosby now. Are you healthy? Why did you sign a guy that's not healthy? Week 3 of the year, he hurts his knee. Well, you knew he was unhealthy, and you still gave up that much for him?
Yeah.
You have set up teams for, if somebody does trade for him now, you've set up teams to just kind of like the Kyler Murray homework situation. You're setting up a narrative that you're not going to be able to shake. with him on that side. Then you add all the other stuff on there. This is just fascinating.
Yeah.
One, that it's allowed to happen. Usually, if people have injury questions like this, you renegotiate the trade. I know in other sports you do. So instead of 2 firsts, the Ravens could have been like, all right, give us that first back. We'll give you a third rounder because of his knee situation. And they were just like, nope.
Send it back to you, and we're going to sign Hendrickson and give up nothing.
Yeah. For $28 million, which is a cheaper deal on top of it.
It's going to be
This is good. The implications on this, because I was reading some people saying NFL owners that were in the Max Crosby trade are pissed. Because keep in mind, everybody knows he had the surgery in January.
yeah.
So everybody was negotiating knowing that.
And the
then
thing
you fail the
is,
physical on top of it?
if
What?
they came to an agreement with the Cowboys team doctors might pass him.
That's the thing. That's the problem.
Or, if, like you said, if the Cardinals.
Don't you in a trade scenario, though, and I don't know how this works, but don't you go, hey, man, we know he had knee surgery in January. Can you throw over those latest x-rays for us so we can look at it before we give you 2 firsts? Does that happen in a trade? Obviously, it doesn't.
Let's put it this way. I have a feeling by next year
They'll be doing that.
that there'll be new rules in place.
Yeah. Because, I'll give you 2 firsts, but look, he had surgery in January. Just throw over his medical stuff to us. Let's just make sure everything's kosher before we do this and everything. So we don't look stupid later on. This is fascinating where it's going to go. We'll talk more about the implications there as well. Get to you guys texting in and, of course, hitting us up on X as well. Dale's going to go play golf.
We can talk more about this tomorrow and Friday
Well,
because there's going to be.
We're going to find out more fallout over the
Yeah.
next couple days. What are the Raiders? The Raiders just traded him per his request. What if the Raiders can't trade him again?
Well, they're
Forget
gonna
about the salary cap.
They're going to get a lot less than 2 firsts.
You've got a disgruntled player on your team now that doesn't want to be there. I can't believe this has happened. Come on back, folks. The main event. And back here, main events. Of course, Dale's going to go off and play some golf here as we wrap up the show today. I get you the rest of the way. We were just talking about the Max Crosby situation. So Raiders lose the cap space that they, of course, got when they traded him off there, which is a big number, folks, as well. They obviously lose some trade suitors, which allowed them to get the 2 number 1 picks from the Ravens because the Cowboys, for instance, were bidding against them. You've lost some trade suitors, a la the Cowboys, who made other trades afterwards. They've either other teams have spent their cap space or, like in the Cowboys' case, went and traded for another edge rusher, and so they did that stuff as well. Then the Raiders lose the 2 first-round draft picks that they got in that trade as well. Goes back to that. And like I said, like Dale said, now you got to convince another team to take a guy that now has a failed physical on his list that was plugged on. And then you're not going to get as much for him now going forward. Like, this is just an absolute mess here, right? Robert did bring up the fact that Ravens have canceled trades before. I gave you the 3 names and stuff to that effect. Michael Brockers in 2020, Ryan Grant 2018, and Brock Marion there in 1997 is what they had done as well. Michael Brockers in 2020 was a 3-year, $30 million deal. It was voided because of an ankle injury that there was concerns of. Ryan Grant had a 4-year, $29 million contract, and that was canceled due to an ankle issue as well. And then Brock Marion back in 1997. That deal was nixed because of a shoulder issue. You heard Dale played with him and knew that situation as well. So, Ravens have a choice. That's the thing that Dale was telling you there, and that's what I'm glad he said, and that's why I wanted to ask him. Teams have leeway in these physicals. You might let a guy through if you know him, right? If he's already been there. Like, you could get failed on a physical every year going into camp. Could you get that pre-camp physical? You could get failed, but they might not fail you. That they would fail somebody else because they know you, they know how you play, and things to that effect. That's why I wanted to ask Dale that question. So the Raiders might be happy with Max Crosby and his knee issue, his meniscus injury that he played on last year. But might be too much for the Ravens, who large contract, 2 first-round draft picks. Might be too rich for their blood. It's fascinating here to see. Robert did the research for me because I was wondering after we were talking about that. I didn't even think to do this last night, but Robert's on top of it this morning. Appreciate it, Robert. Warren Sharp put it out there on Twitter, and Robert sent it to us. Not only did Brock Marion play all 16 games in 1997 after the Ravens failed him for the shoulder injury, he missed only 1 game the next 8 seasons combined. Remember, famously, the Miami Dolphins could have gotten Drew Brees, and they failed his physical because of his shoulder. And they went with Dante Culpepper instead, if my memory is correct, because of the shoulder injury. I don't know if you guys are up on football history nowadays or not, but Drew Brees had a pretty long and illustrious career there in New Orleans after the Dolphins were like, his shoulder's messed up, we're not signing him. We're going to go with Dante Culpepper instead. This happens in the NFL. And teams can be wrong, but it comes down to, is it worth the risk on the dollar amount and stuff to that effect? And obviously, well, the Ravens have a little bit more concerns than other teams generally do out there that we're looking at from there. But the implications on this are going to be far. It hurts the Ravens first and foremost the most. Baltimore is going to be fine. Now, maybe Baltimore, other teams won't deal with Baltimore as much now because they're afraid of this stuff, or hey, we don't want to deal with you because so maybe those implications happen for the Ravens. But in terms of on the field, Ravens aren't hurt at all. A Hendrickson instead for less money, don't have to give up the 2 first-round draft picks. Ravens are coming out of this on the other side, at least on the player personnel side. Good. Now, they could hurt their reputation. Like, the Raiders aren't ever going to deal with the Ravens again. How many other teams will kind of fall into that side? It's kind of the question as well. It's what you're looking at. Other football news out there, just breaking here this morning. Bam Knight coming back to the Cardinals. Cardinals are re-signing Bam Knight, which, again, I told you guys it was either yesterday or the day before on the Cardinals. They signed the guard from the Steelers, the number 3 guard of all time there. They signed the Algier, the running back from Atlanta, onto this team. I told you guys the Cardinals are out of the Jeremiah Love sweepstakes. Put that aside. Coop's joining us on Friday. Lou just texted me. That's why he's on my mind. Coop's coming in on Friday this week, and we'll talk about this with him. Obviously, the first person on the Jeremiah Love bandwagon, first person telling you that's who he wants here as a Cardinals guy. I told you the other day Cardinals are out of the Jeremiah Love sweepstakes. I'd be shocked if they don't go with an offensive lineman for their first draft pick, whether it be 3 or slide down. Now we're seeing some mock drafts saying they could go defensive linemen, kind of in the same idea here of what my thinking is here with their signings here in free agency. Adding Bam Knight to this team also tells me they're not going to be looking running back or that specific position here coming up in the draft. So to me, Jeremiah Love's out of the conversation for the Cardinals, even more so now coming up. So we will talk to Coop about that coming up on Friday when he comes in as well. Robert also says, so the Ravens playing 4D chess. Okay. My first thought was everybody knew he had a knee injury. There were some questions on if he could have kept playing all season. He played on it all last year. The Raiders shut him down. He got mad about it. Blah blah blah. You guys know the story if you've been around football and watched this program. The Raiders have spent a crap ton of money here in this free agency period, including signing the center of the Baltimore Ravens to their team in free agency. Now, if the Ravens let him get to free agency, then they should be okay with him leaving. I instantly, conspiracy theory hat went on yesterday when I saw this move, and I started realizing the implications on it with a lot of reading and a lot of national guys talking about other teams upset about this move because they can't go after Crosby, stuff to that effect. Think about this for a second. The Ravens doing this, justified or not, the Ravens doing this has thrown a giant wrinkle into multiple teams, not just plans, but their off seasons. Wouldn't this be diabolical if they were playing 4D chess, Robert? Wouldn't this be diabolical if a team takes a high-end free agent? I'm going to throw another scenario out here. It's not going to happen, but another scenario. Malik Willis goes to the Dolphins and signs that deal. Dolphins back out of that deal for whatever reason. As I said, it's not going to happen. I'm just throwing it out there. Cardinals signed Gardner Minshew. Malik Willis is the guy everybody wants as a quarterback out there. Everybody signed all their quarterbacks now. There's not a lot of room for quarterbacks, at least starting quarterbacks. Just imagine the implications you could do to hurt teams around the league if you do this type of a thing. I'm not saying the Ravens did it on purpose. I do firmly believe the Ravens and whatever their standards are, they saw the knee and they went, this is not worth 2 first-round picks and this contract. That's their prerogative, folks. I don't like it, but that's their prerogative, and I firmly believe they have no malicious intention. Call me a homer if you want to, because if those of you know, I'm a Ravens fan and have been for a lot of years. I have more Ravens gear than I do Cardinals. But this is diabolical what they've done now. Teams are screwed in this deal. The Cowboys would have given a first and a third for Max Crosby, and now they're not able to make this move. Do they start unwinding some deals? They'd be able to make the trade now for him and stuff to that effect. This is fascinating what has happened. And if you want to go down the 4D chess, right, the conspiracy theory chess, and the Ravens did this, knowing all along they were going to get Hendrickson. But they made this move and everything. They told Hendrickson, just hold on tight. We're going to bring you in. We got you. We got you, buddy. And they bring him in there to mess with other teams out there. Why do they want to mess with the Cowboys? I don't know. Right? Why they want to mess with the Raiders? I don't know. But it's fascinating. I love thinking that way, even though it's probably conspiracy theory type stuff. I do like thinking that way out there as well, and what we are looking at around the NFL, because this is just, I don't even know how to describe it. This is just unbelievable news out there. Colts and the quarterback, Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, they agree to a 2-year, $58 million contract. Of course, he's going to miss the beginning part of the season with his knee injury for him as well. But 2-year deal there in Indianapolis after they tagged him. They didn't do the franchise tag. They did the one where you could go out and get other offer deals. But 2-year, $88 million contract, so $44 million a year for Danny Dimes there in Indianapolis, coming off of his knee injury as well. So, a lot of stuff to go over here. Hey, what do you guys think of Bam Knight and his 83 points last night? Just curious. I mean, first of all, this isn't a knock on Bam Knight at all. Heck of a night for him. If you have a chance to score 83, score 83. This is kind of like, this isn't the same thing, but kind of what I said about the kid over in Maryvale, I think it was, the high school, where he scored the 100 points. And he had, 70-something in the first half. For that situation, I put him more on the coaches for getting it to that point and stuff like that. Professionals, I do view them a little bit different here. He was 20 of 43 from field goal range. His team just kept feeding him the ball. I don't like that style of basketball. Kobe, when he scored his 81, fed the ball an awful lot. My initial reaction to seeing 83 last night and watching it go down at the end there, because everybody cut to it. My initial reaction was, man, pass the ball, dude. Pass the ball. Meaning him. But then you break it down. Yeah, 43 shots. Yes, his teammates were feeding him at the end. But the shocker move here is the other team kept fouling him nonstop. Record free throw attempts, record free throws made by Bam last night to get to that 83. This is also on the opposing team. Stop fouling him. 36 free throws made on 43 attempts last night. I'm not gonna poo-poo somebody scoring 83 points, but it wasn't a basketball game, right? His team was getting him there. Like I said, Wilt, Bam, nothing against you, Bam, but you shouldn't be in the conversation with Wilt Chamberlain 100 and Kobe's 81, Booker's 50, whatever he had, 51, I think it was, and all those types of scoring records. You shouldn't even be in that conversation. He's a career, 32-point shooter or scorer in this league and everything like that. So it's hard to say this without being negative, but I mean, congratulations, you got 83. But like Colin Gillespie said last night, I don't care. I just don't care. I'm not going to hold that up there and be like, remember when Bam got 83? If you're in the building, it would have been kind of spectacular to see. But again, it's not basketball. They just kept feeding him the ball. The other team kept fouling him nonstop. You get to the line 43 times? Seriously? It's just not basketball. That's all I want to point out there as well. Hey, Robert also says, is it possible to get skunked in a college basketball game? Is asking for a friend out there. You just reminded me about that comment. Eddie House, right? What did he score? 50 in the college game back in the day? He was fed the ball a lot. What year was that? 2000? 2000 probably? 2000, 2001, if I had to guess. I'm guessing here. That was so long ago. But Eddie House had that big, huge scoring event in college, right? 50. It's just not basketball. But it's impressive to get 83. Congratulations. But in the grand scheme of things, it's a good thing for him. In the grand scheme of basketball, it's just not basketball. Not interested. Corbin Carroll is going to DH today, officially, for the Diamondbacks. This is a quick recovery from that. I call it the ham bone injury. Obviously, it's the hamate bone. But the ham bone injury, quite the recovery, because they said be lucky to have him ready for the start of the season. Folks, it's March 11th. We're still a couple of weeks away here from the regular season starting. Coming back this early to be DHing. Obviously, he's been hitting in the cages and things to that effect. This is a heck of a comeback here for Corbin Carroll and getting back into this game. ASU's game against, We might get all of our USA players back in the World Baseball Classic here later on today. ASU, of course, battling Iowa State this morning. Folks, there's 15 minutes and 49 seconds left in the first half. I'm not going to say Bobby Hurley needs to say his goodbyes today after this game because they're going to lose it. I'm just saying it's 7-0 here. 5 minutes into the first. They haven't scored yet. Yeah. 7-0 right now. They haven't scored yet. But hopefully Bobby Hurley's office is packed up. Let's put it that way. Because today's going to be the day that they, unfortunately have to move on from him and start the process over again. And we'll get into thoughts of who should have it. My initial thoughts are, I told you before, ASU is showing they will pay for good coach. They stepped up and paying Molly Miller. They stepped up. They're paying Kenny Dillingham. They've stepped up and played, of course, I forget his name right now, the bad baseball coach. They stepped up and paid him. They've stepped up and paid other coaches around ASU as well. So they should step up and pay a basketball coach to come in here. You guys heard my stuff before. Oh, they finally scored. 9-2 now. Arizona State is down to Iowa State here. 15 minutes here left in the first half. But, I told you before, my rant on this. You can win at Arizona State. If everybody that says you can't win at Arizona State, facilities are bad, Bobby Hurley shows you can upset and you can win at Arizona State. He does not do it consistently enough. He has these big lulls in this season, right? You go and you beat Kansas at the end of the season. But yet you go to UCF and you're up by 12 with 5 minutes to go. And you have the foul advantage. Every time they foul you, you go to the line and you lose that game. There's consistency with Bobby Hurley. When it comes to the conference play, is the inconsistencies there were the problem. If you can get a coach to come in here and win and beat the teams you can beat, right? Everybody in the Big 12. I'll even give you that. Forget about Houston. Forget about Texas Tech. Forget about Iowa State. Sometimes forget about Kansas. Forget about Arizona. 5 teams that there's no shame in losing to in the Big 12. Beat everybody else. You're finishing 6th in the Big 12 and going to the NCAA tournament. You can get there if you get consistent conference play from a coach and a team out there. That's what they're missing. Are you going to be an Arizona program? No, not with your facilities the way they are now. 11-2 now. Folks, 14 minutes left in the first half, and they've scored 2 points. Whew. Take a deep breath, Steve. Take a deep breath. Here's the scenarios for tonight for the World Baseball Classic. Starts at 4 p.m. our time tonight. By U.S. losing to Italy last night, they walked into this game last night thinking they had already advanced, and they didn't take it seriously. And they got thumped by a team where most of the players on the Italian team wanted to play for the USA team. They weren't good enough to make it. They got thumped by a team because their mentality was, their manager before the game went on a show and said, well, now that we've already advanced, and had to be told in that moment that they hadn't advanced yet. They went and got thumped in this game last night. They fought back on it. They did. They fought back. Absolutely. They ultimately lost. They needed to score as many runs as humanly possible to help them today. Here's the breakdown on today for this. Folks, this loss by the American team, the best American team ever put together for this type of an event. Favorites with Japan to make it to the finals and possibly win it. They could be eliminated today, sitting in their hotel rooms in Houston if Mexico wins today. Now they scored enough runs yesterday because that's the tiebreaker. If Mexico beats Italy today, Mexico's problem is they don't have deep pitching. So what's their pitching staff like going into this game today? Are they rested? Are they all tired? Type of a situation you got to kind of look at, right? I don't know this because we're not in the moment of the World Baseball Classic. The Mexico, now you scored enough runs yesterday. So if there's a three-way tie, if Mexico wins today, there's a three-way tie, and it comes down to runs scored. 5 runs or more. If Mexico wins today and scores more than 5 runs, the U.S. will advance with Mexico. If Mexico wins and scores 4 or less runs, Mexico and Italy move on. If Italy wins, U.S. moves on. You are rooting for the Italians today. Hey, everybody for dinner, have some spaghetti, some pizza today, some Parmigianos. You're rooting for Italy today if you want to see the United States team move on. If the United States team doesn't move on, this is a monumental disappointment of epic for whatever projections or whatever word I'm trying to say here. You're rooting for Italy today, and if Mexico has the lead, you need them to have the lead with scoring of at least 5 runs. Because then that means Mexico and Americans will move on. You don't want to see a 3-2 ball game with Mexico winning. If we go up there and Mexico hits a grand slam in the first inning, hit a solo home run in the second inning, just lean back and go, America advances. But you got to hope for it tonight, folks. This is unbelievable that the American baseball team is disappointed in this effect here going into this game tonight as well, coming up here. Just a little quick programming note for you, everybody out there. Tomorrow, Thursday, of course, Uncle Lou will be back in studio. Last week he was remote. He'll be here tomorrow at 9 o'clock hour. Of course, talked about big UFC numbered fight last week. I did catch some of it there, being out at the NASCAR for that O'Reilly Series race. Did catch some of those fights, not as much as I would have liked to. I have gone back and kind of started watching it. I'll watch more tonight as well. But then, of course, Bruce Cooper, not able to make it in on Tuesday, is going to come in on Friday this week for Bruce as well to join us coming up. Other football news is we'll just kind of go around. We're talking about it. Hendrickson, if you missed that news earlier, signed with Baltimore. After the fallout, the NFL's eyeing its first ever Thanksgiving Eve game. Yeah. And they're not just eyeing it for the future. They're eyeing it for the 2026 season. That means the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, they're saying they want to have a NFL football game on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Wednesday, November 25th of 2026 is what they're looking at. Adam Schefter put that out as well, and things. So we're just going to have NFL footballs every day of the week coming up here. Just schedule them every day of the week at this point is what we're looking at. I don't know. There's going to come a time where we're just going to be sick of football at certain points. Now, let me rephrase that. If the Wednesday game before Thanksgiving, obviously it won't be the Cowboys. Obviously it won't be the Lions, right? But if you have a good matchup, a great matchup of 2 playoff contending teams on that day, people will watch. But if it's like the Cardinals and I'm naming another bad team. I'm drawing a blank right now. Nobody's going to watch it. You have to, for this type of stuff, you have to have that stuff. So look for that coming the way here shortly in NFL circles as well, and what they are doing. Don't forget, text us 623-252-6670, like several people have today. And, of course, on X at TME Sports Show, like Robert and others have done today as well out there. Raiders. Speaking of the Raiders, obviously the Crosby situation. They're trading Geno Smith to the Jets. They said they were going to release Geno Smith. Jets said, oh, wait a minute. I told you that Kyler Murray wasn't being traded at all unless this scenario happens. And the Raiders were able to create this scenario to where the Jets wanted Geno Smith. And so they were like, hey, we might not get him in free agency, so let's trade for him. Geno Smith started his career with the New York Jets back in 2013. Famously got hit in the mouth for a bet, broke his jaw before the season, things to that effect as well. So Geno Smith's being traded to the Jets from the Raiders, going back to his homeland. I've been telling you all along, whether you believe me, whether you don't believe me, whether you believe the things I've been telling you, fine, I understand. But people in the know, I've always been led to believe that Kyler Murray has always wanted to go to the Vikings. And the Vikings have always had interest in him for a while now. But they weren't willing to trade for him. Geno Smith going to the Jets tells us one thing. If Kyler Murray is going to go to a team and be a starter this year, it's going to be with the Minnesota Vikings, or at least have a chance to start. Let's put it that way. The rumors were for a long time, and I never believed them because of what I was being told and what I was led to believe. Let me put it that way. What I was led to believe, Kyler Murray was never going to the Jets for a lot of reasons. We talked about the weather there. He doesn't play in cold weather, never has, that organization, etc. I've been telling you guys for a while, Kyler Murray to the Vikings scares me as a Cardinals fan and somebody that covers the Cardinals. Because Kyler Murray has a legit chance, if he goes to the Vikings, to have a very successful, at least 1, maybe 2 years there. I'm not saying he won't regress at some point, but definitely his first year there with their head coach, Justin Jefferson. They have a running game there, tight ends there. Kyler Murray has a legit chance to go into Vikings land and have a very, very successful season. And obviously, when the team you cover, the team you root for, and their players goes on and have success elsewhere, and they didn't have success here to the level you were hoping, it's very disappointing to see. Geno Smith going to the Jets pretty much points you to, if Kyler Murray is going to do what he wants to do here, he's going to be at the Jets. He's going to go, to the Vikings. All signs point Vikings for Kyler Murray. Now, like I said, I've been told that for several months now. I've been told, not from the Kyler side of things, more from the Viking side, that they were super interested in him when all this stuff was going down. I floated this to you November, December of last year to watch out for the Vikings in this conversation. I've heard the last few weeks that it's kind of even more so pointing toward the Vikings as well as where he's going to go. You know, there's reports out there that Kyler Murray and his team, who you hear nothing about here in free tampering, legal tampering period, you've heard nothing about Kyler Murray. And that's because I personally believe he has a deal with the Vikings already in hand. He's not officially released from the Cardinals. I believe that happens today. But I believe there's a deal in place. You'll probably hear it pretty quickly if I'm going to guess. Again, purely speculation off of things I've heard, things I've been told, etc. Might not happen. I trust the people telling me this stuff, but you know how NFL football circles are. But that Jet talk was huge. I didn't necessarily believe it, but there was always that possibility. Now Geno Smith going to the Jets tells me even more. Kyler Murray's always been going to the Vikings. He's got a chance to have success there, folks. To brace yourself as well on what you're looking at. We, of course, have Lou coming up tomorrow. Really quick, Ronda Rousey, of course, doing that MMA fight with that actress lady. I forget her name. She got fired from The Mandalorian a few years ago because of her political stuff and things like that. Well, they're fighting not in UFC circles, but another MMA brand here coming up as well. But Ronda Rousey yesterday, of course, came up through the UFC, got the women's side started there in the UFC as well. Well, she just ripped into the UFC yesterday during the press conference. Gina Carrero was the other girl's name. I knew it would come to me, and boom, there it was. This fight's going to be on Netflix. It's a total cash grab for both of these ladies. I'm not going to knock you for that. It's no different than what the Jake Paul or whatever his name is kid does with his boxing. Ronda Rousey, one of the things she said was, quote, "They need to be saved from themselves. And luckily, I'm here to be their hero." She says the UFC is one of the worst places to make a living. We know this. We talk about this with Lou all the time. These fighters don't get paid. There's always somebody willing to fight for cheaper. They push down those rates. All the big wigs and investors make money and stuff to that effect. But now you have an ex-UFC fighter who made her bones there, fighting for another entity on Netflix. And instead of talking about the new entity and this fight coming up, which she did, to be fair about this, but she flat out attacked UFC in this battle as well. So she said, I got to find the other quote here as well. She said that she initially tried to bring this specific fight to the UFC, but Dana White, for some reason the deal fell apart. She blames Dana White, but it did fall apart. She turned to Netflix now, and that's where it's going on that. So here's her exact quote. I knew that we could promote this on our own, and that would probably be the most lucrative way to go about it for us. But I have such love and respect for Dana that I wanted to bring this to him first. I can do this on my own, but I'd rather fight for you than fight for me. Just make it make sense for me. Doesn't that just make her sound like she's I'll help Dana and the UFC out. I'll help them out. It's no problem. Oh, no problem. Now, there she sounds all good. But like I said, she flat out said the UFC needs to be safe from themselves. She flat out said that she complained about the fighter pay in the UFC. She complained about the structure of the UFC in that whole deal as well. So, I don't know. I don't expect Dana to respond to it, to be honest with you, because you're just giving more credence to it. Just wish her luck in her, money grab fight against Gina Carano. And move on with your life, Dana. But we'll see if Dana responds to it and stuff to that effect. Lou comes up tomorrow. Of course, Bruce Cooper on Friday. Folks, appreciate you for joining me here today on the main event. Of course, Dale's been here most of the show as well. Tomorrow, we got a lot to talk about. Is the U.S. still available, still ready to fight in the WBC, or is the biggest upset happened in World Baseball Classic history? The U.S. team gets eliminated today. We'll find out later today as well. Bobby Hurley and his squad on the court right now. They scored 2 points in the first 6 minutes of the ball game. 7 minutes, 56 seconds left in the first half. They finally got up to 10 here. 27-10, Iowa State in the lead right now. Arizona State's having problems in this game, so maybe we'll talk Bobby Hurley being relieved of his duties later on tomorrow as well, or it's going to be a couple days before we get the official word. I'm going to be shocked if it is anything longer than tomorrow that we hear officially from the Arizona State program on Bobby Hurley's situation. So, appreciate you all joining me here. I'm just clearing out all the stuff. Robert says, sounds like Rousey is trying to find the island of relevancy. Yeah, because she also couldn't perform in the WWE, couldn't get along in there as well and stuff like that. Just a money grab. And I'm not going to fault anybody for doing a money grab. If I had the ability to do it, I'd probably do it too. It's going to make millions with this fight. And her and Gina are going to make millions on this fight and everything. But just one last blip of relevancy. And if Ronda would have put in the time in the WWE, she could have been a superstar. But she didn't want to work at it. Thought it was easy. Didn't work out. Yeah. Like, subscribe to the YouTube page at TME Media AZ is the YouTube page. Don't forget Rumble. We're going to start putting our sports stuff on Rumble as well here. Probably end of this week, beginning of next week, we'll start putting the episodes up there. For those of you that follow Rumble, TME Media over there. Favorite podcast systems, just search for the shows there as well. We'll get this up on demand. Pit Stop coming up here shortly as well today. Look back at Phoenix. We'll have the rest of that interview with Santino Ferrucci. Of course, we'll have some pit stops, literally some pit stops and showing you the difference between the O'Reilly pit stop and a Cup pit stop. So much more, folks. So come and join us on the pit stop later on. Have a great Wednesday night.